real estate.
Yeah.
You know, real estate related. I wanted to talk about something.
I have something that I want to talk about too.
Oh yeah,
You go first.
No. You go first. Go ahead.
Okay, so I had this. It was phrased as a podcast interview yesterday, but what it actually turned out to be is they were filming short snippet, like TikTok videos. So he would ask a question and then I would answer it in like a minute or less, and then that will, I guess, be turned into stuff. So hey, I'm gonna be on TikTok finally.
Congratulations.
What podcast was that?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say yet.
Oh.
It's new.
Bring it up.
We can keep it
Why did you bring it up?
No, so I want to talk about one of the questions that I was asked.
Then.
So, I hadn't seen any of the questions ahead of time, and what was asked of me was, what do you think are the most, well, there were several questions, but one of them was, what do you think is the most important parts of a CRM? And so off the cuff, I said something, and I'm going to kind of repeat what I said. And then I want to hear your guys' opinion, because it kind of got me thinking of like, what are the pillar stones of a CRM, specifically for real estate? And so what I said was the ability to bring in leads from anywhere, follow up, and then KPIs. And so I expounded upon those, and I said, the ability to bring in leads from anywhere, especially with real estate investors, they love to try every new thing that's out there. And, you need to be able to integrate in. And I said, at InvestorFuse, we've integrated with over 75 different sources. Doesn't make sense for you to have leads in multiple places. They need to all be in one place in order to manage them. Then follow up is like, not just like, can it follow up, but how does it follow up? Is it just like tasks that you'll never find out or manage? Or is it something that will hold you accountable? And then finally was KPIs, just like it's important to understand how you and your team are doing. So discussion point is, what do you guys think are the most important parts of a CRM for real estate investors?
I think it's you.
Oh, thanks. I think you hit it. I mean, I'm sure there's 1,000 things on a wish list, but
great.
I think the only other thing that goes without saying is ease of use.
Yes.
Ease of use is probably the most important. When I say that, I mean idiot proof for virtual people. It's one thing to teach somebody in office a CRM, because it's little things like you can learn any software just by looking over to the other desk. Hey, how'd you do that? Oh, really? How'd you get that view? Or how'd you do that? When you're virtual, people are always afraid to ask questions. They're watching a video tutorial or something, and the learning curve is slightly harder to overcome, right? Because you're not there around people. And even walkthroughs is just a talking head talking at you in the morning. Easy use, I would say, on the interface is probably the big one. But I like the follow-up, something Podio never really had.
Yeah.
Podio had tasks, but man, I ended up deleting. They were hard to manage. There were a lot of them.
I said exactly that in parts of the interview yesterday. Because we talked about Podio. If we hadn't had the conversation we had in episode 1, I'd dig into it because it kind of relates. It's like one of the things he asked me was like, why do you think everybody who has a small amount of success in real estate suddenly thinks that they can sell their own CRM? It was like, hey, that's like what we talked about last week on this show.
But I also don't think everybody needs a CRM.
Yeah.
I was telling someone the other week, when I started out, I was cold calling myself. I just had a notebook. Well, actually, I had an Excel sheet that I printed, and I had it inside my notebook. And then, like, as I'm dialing, I'm checking off. One of the, it's embarrassing, but like when I actually started doing it like as a company, I just basically transferred over because I'm thinking like, this fucking works for me. Oh my God. So I hired a couple guys, you know what I mean? And then I'd have them sit at desk. I'd set them up. And so like, and I was using like my cell phone. So instead what I did was I got like Bright House as our service provider. So I got like real like phone lines, you know what I mean?
Oh man.
Like hard phone with like the punch pad, and I'd set it up on their desk, and I gave them all notebooks, and I basically gave them the same. I was using Mojo back then, you know what I mean? Like basically, hey guys, and I'd print them off a list and like, here you go. And I'm expecting them to be able to follow up. Needless to say, it was a giant failure of epic proportions. And that's when I kind of moved into Podio because I was like, man, this just isn't working. Well, actually, I tried moving into Follow Up Boss first, but that wasn't really geared towards investing. It was more for my realtor side of the business.
Yeah.
But again, the notebook thing worked very well for just me. That and like Google Calendar, I was perfectly fine. But with the team, no, they needed structure. They needed to be held accountable for things.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said too. He asked when is Investor Fuse right for a customer or like perfect avatar or whatever. And I was like, they got to be generating consistent leads because they'll get to a point where they can't remember everything about all the leads that they have. And at that point, you feel the pain points of the CRM starts to solve. Before then, all you got to do is call, and who cares where you put it.
I think people underestimate the need for leads.
Yeah.
Right. When I say need for leads, I mean volume, busy work. If you're quitting your job, I mean, this is what I do all day long. I've been doing it for like over 12 years now. Okay. This is it. There's nothing else to fill my time frame other than aimlessly scrolling through Instagram. And that is it's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of people are like, okay, I should hire out. I should do this. I got to get this system and this system. I would rather have the problem of too many leads and no system.
Yeah.
Than the perfect system and no leads, because one, a perfect system costs money, right? And you're setting it all up and you have a bigger back office than you do your actual sales side of the business, right? You have a bigger CRM. You may have the transaction person, the VA scrubbing your data, but if you don't have something to pump in leads into that CRM, what's the freaking point? Which is why I think like a notebook at first is good. So it goes to what you said, like you have to have leads. But a lot of people don't do that. They get a Podio system and they have like 100 leads in there. What is that? Like a day's worth of work? What are you doing the next 4 days?
It's like preparing for a marathon, right? People will go out. I get shoes. How do I hydrate? What kind of fuel do I need? Do I need to take salt? And they're missing the one and most important thing that they should be doing. Go running.
Do you Carlos, do you watch DM Dealmaker? Do you watch
one of my favorite people? I think in 2020 I named him my favorite podcast of the year. I believe it was 2020.
Well, it's funny because he just did, I don't know if you saw on his Instagram, he just did a post about that, and he was like wholesalers, and it was like, and I forget what he was checking his phone. He's like, all right, I got to call these leads. Wait, got to check Instagram. All right, wait a second. I got to go take a piss. Hang on. Come right back. I'm going to dial when I get back. I'm going to hit this phone line. He's like, wait. I need a coffee. Okay. I'm going to get, wait. Something might have happened on Instagram. Hang on a second. And, it's like 1 hour later or whatever. And he's like, all right. I'm getting to it. And that's really what it's like for a lot of people and that's what you were talking about, right? Like you're prepping your systems. You're trying to get your fucking logo and shit. I mean, everything. And I am notorious for doing those things too. So I only speak and make fun of things that I have a deep experience in. So I am a victim of that as well. And learning from mentors and other people and also being made fun of has helped me drastically improve my procrastination on things. And I train my team that too. We don't look at notes, just dial, just go for it. Don't try to value the property ahead of time. And those are common problems that people make too with procrastination.
I love that. One of the many listeners of this show, or Papa P or John, should trademark the need for leads. Kind of like need for
Papa
speed.
P!
Should trademark that.
I got a need for leads.
Little Maverick.
Papa P, let's go real estate.
For my baby boomer listeners, fellow baby boomers out there that love Top Gun and Maverick and Goose, definitely should trademark that.
I got the need for leads. I like that. Well, I said it, but I like the fact.
It sounds good saying it. Like I can come up with some ideas and then I have them go through you because you're going to be better delivery on it. But I love that. And one of the very first podcasts, I'm going to give a shout out to fellow Florida guy. I'm glad you guys got my group text to all wear dark V-necks for this episode as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
My dude Alex Pardo, fellow Miami guy. I listened to a podcast of his, Flip Empire, specifically talking about CRMs. This is probably around 6 years ago, because it was right when I first started working for Investor Fuse, and it was all about CRMs. And he talked about Investor Fuse. He talked about a few other options out there. The biggest takeaway I took away from the episode, and I've had this conversation hundreds, if not thousands of times talking to people about getting set up with CRMs, is like anybody could be successful, to Brandon John's point, with a pen and paper notebook, but a CRM is going to give you one, like cloud-based communication with the team. So like you can't just send pictures of your pad, but it's also going to give you exponentially better chance of success at following up with your leads. And the thing that I love about like working with InvestorFuse is putting people on follow-up sequences. It's almost like another organic form of marketing, like just putting all your cold old leads, because anybody that responds, it's like you probably be prospecting to them anyway. So it's just going to give you a better chance of staying organized, save time. Yeah. Hopefully you're working with a company that has great support, and service and training, scalability. That's one thing that we could potentially hit on is like training. If we want to, we definitely hit on scalability. But just with you two, I appreciate you guys, because you guys both put an emphasis on training your team to use a CRM, which I see Brandon doing. I definitely want to hear how some of the going over the call recordings with your team went, if that's applicable for this episode. But both you guys train your team heavily and put an emphasis on training your team to use the CRM, which that could probably be a whole discussion point in itself. Like if you're an owner listening to this, like, are you just putting your team in the CRM and hoping they figure it out and work leads, or are you listening to their calls live? Are you showing them how to use the CRM? Because John and I met at a very frequent rhythm for our internal InvestorFuse CRM, which is B2B instead of InvestorFuse and other tools in the system, in the space, which are B2B. So that helped me, and I'm sure it's helped Brandon's team using InvestorFuse just much, much more. And like it magnifies how efficient a CRM can be for you if you're getting trained on it from your team, like how your team wants using it from the operator.
So trying to stay on the topic of CRMs, right? So like you said, it is important to know that you could be successful without it. And I was, but I was a solo person on the team. I epically failed. So I needed a CRM. And when I got to that point, I made another mistake. The other mistake was that everybody's like me. I like to think of myself as an average of intelligence person. I am right there with the meathead at the gym. You know what I mean? But I felt like everybody was like me, and you look at a CRM, you could figure it out. You could watch the tutorials or you could Google it. And it's taken me, honestly, years to realize that a lot of people aren't like me, meaning that, hey, man, well, I figured it out. You can figure it out. Hey, I figured out how to set the task. You could figure out. I figured out how to set a view. You could figure it out. So my first mistake was giving them the product without giving them the training. Maybe doing a quick walkthrough. Click this. Oh, remember it. You have perfect photographic memory. Boom. Mm-hmm. And then realizing and banging my head against the wall, because they would do it, but they wouldn't come back and ask. So they would be making mistakes or forgetting things, and that would frustrate me. So along the road, I started making training, right? And John knows my training. I had like my online university. I still have it, where you log in. The problem with that then was I was giving a one-time training. Let me cram as much shit down your throat as possible. And then when you don't remember it, I'm going to scold you every day for not remembering the 50 hours of me talking at you on a video that you did for your first 2 weeks of training. And then I was banging my head. I'm like, man, I'm giving them this stuff and they're not getting it. Honestly, all of this leading up to daily training every day, no matter what, touch on something. You talk about something and make them walk through it. That's kind of, you can give them all the training up front, but every morning is when we train, whether it's call recordings, like you said. But so tying that in, Carlos, call recordings, when I'm listening to call recordings with them or somebody on my team is training the team to listen, we're screen sharing, pulling up the lead in IF3, then seeing how they coded it out. What did their notes look like? What did they input? What status did they give it? When's their follow-up? So right there on the screen share, because on Zoom, on virtual team Zoom, you could share the sound. So we're playing the recording and then sliding over IF3, and I'm making them watch, and I'll pause it and be like, now listen, this is what you did. Here's what you should do. So I'm giving them that. And that's an everyday thing. Not Mondays, but Mondays we usually do more script role playing. But yeah, so it's daily training, man. And that's the thing is you can give them the best CRM. But, it's like my iPhone. I only use 1% of what this functionality can do. Same with my truck. I don't use all the gadgets inside there. Same thing with the CRM, unless you teach people.
Yeah, I really feel like it's more like a coach, right? Top athletes in the world who have achieved, things that no average human can still have a coach.
Yeah.
Right. And like you're there to help them, to grow them, and that takes time. And if you check in, less frequently and I just assume, right? And I think that's the worst problem that people do is they just assume. I taught them once, like what you just said. Yeah. I taught them once. I gave them the best training they've ever seen in their life. So
it was you who told me that.
Yeah.
It was like a year ago. I was bitching because I was like, John, this is common sense. I was like, anyone can figure this out. And you said, no, Brandon, not everyone's like you. They can't figure it out.
Well, it's not intelligence to me. It's drive. Like that's what the difference, right?
Yeah. Drive, willingness.
Yeah, willingness, right? Like, our team here. Whoa, you drop your bat?
I dropped my bat. Shit. I was swinging it. Anyway, yeah.
Put a hole in the wall, dude. It's Friday.
My landlord, he won't even notice. I'll just patch it.
It's drive, right? Willingness. And when you're the owner of the company, you have to realize that, and even like a manager who's worked their way up, you're probably going to have way more drive and willingness than most people. Not to say that you're not hiring good people, right? Who are going to, be there for your company, but they're coming in for a paycheck. They're coming in to work. And you got to coach them along that whole path, that whole experience, and assume that they are not like you.
So that's the thing is a lot of people will give a company, whether it's i3 or Pody or whatever it is, shit, and they'll be like, oh, they don't have good training, and oh man, they don't have good YouTube videos, or their tutorial sucks. No, man, I think it's personally on the company, the business leader, to make those videos and documentation.
Yeah.
So documentation is good and everything, but documentation alone is just, listen, I make documentation. I have a lot of colorful graphs. I love fucking around with some colorful graphs. But I'm asking, and I have one for repair values. And I'm like, hey guys, how much repair is this if it needs a roof and an AC? I don't know, boss. How about you pull out your fucking graph? Tell me, because I told you to keep it on your PC during work hours. And it's like it's there. They have it. They don't refer to it.
Right.
You don't make them and remind them constantly. And again, this is like not 100% of the population, but I would say a very large portion of it. Yeah. So what's important with the CRM? All the things we discussed, but nothing other than you training people on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No matter what CRM you have, you got to train people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to give them the best success. That's going to give your company the best success.
I was at a nice, the artist named Claude Monet museum last night in Miami looking at different art pictures from the late 1800s, and they remind me of Brandon's graphs. Actually, I was looking through and I was like, oh man, these kind of like Brandon's graphs.
They're beautiful, honestly.
It was beautiful.
Listen.
It's some nice flowing music to it as well.
I wish, like right now, I'm in a different season of my business because I'm really trying to like scale and do different things this year. But I was telling my wife, and I was like, man, I really need to just sit down and focus on the business. And I'm doing so much right now. I was like, I need to go back to when I was just sitting there making graphs because we need more processes for all the new stuff we're implementing. And that's the other thing is your processes always lag behind what you're doing. You should never have your processes prior to you implementing. For me, it's always in after it. After I figure it out, after I do it a bunch myself, then I'm going to sit down. And sometimes somebody like me who has a little ADD, I'm doing like 5 things at once and then I need to sit down. But yeah, man, I enjoy sitting down with some Brain FM. I highly recommend brain.fm. Get on focus mode. No one in the office. I get here first. just like 3-4 hours, just non-interrupted doing shit.
Love that.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. If I could pick my happy place, like Happy Gilmore, that's my happy place.
Mm-hmm.
Me and some Lucid charts.
Yes.
So yeah, I use Lucid charts if anybody's.
I was going to ask that for sure. We'll put that in the show notes.
Well, I know we have what is that 0.000 listeners right now. If you guys wanted to know, Lucid charts, well worth the money. Everybody in my company uses it, not just me. I make everybody do graphs or some type of document. We also use Google Sheets and Microsoft. So just depends on what part of the team. I have multiple companies. Some companies get Excel. My virtual companies get Google Sheets. So
yes.
But yeah,
going back to Brain FM, I took a quiz a long time ago, and it told you your like ideal music to listen to get into like Zen mode.
Was that the Focus at Will app?
Hmm?
Did you use the Focus at Will app? The one that Dan Martell? It's like a $50 annual subscription. I did that too. Yeah,
I didn't pay for it. I just did the tell me what it is, and I was like, I bet it's soundtrack music because I have a playlist. Let's see, how long is it? It's 423 songs, and it's a full day's worth of soundtrack music, and that's my Zen mode. Turn that on. No meetings.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Love that. Reminds me of Neo. It reminds me of Neo in the Matrix, where they're just downloading different skills for him to learn, like different fighting styles and flying a helicopter.
Listen, why can't we do that?
I would love that. I always think of that scene.
I don't see how it's hard.
Elon Musk is working
over here with Neuralink. He's going to tap into our brain, download some kung fu. Like, if everyone's like, "Oh, your brain's a computer. Your brain's a computer." Well, no shit. Let's put some downloads in there for me.
Mm-hmm.
No. Here's the thing, we've been in existence. We're in what, 2022 right now, and there's a BC. This is AD. There's a BC. How come the only way to input knowledge into our brain is still by reading? Why have we not figured a better way out yet?
Elon will.
Elon's on it.
I believe Elon will. I don't know about his new haircut, but I believe that he will. He looks
he's literally working on it. They have it.
His new haircut's scary.
I haven't seen his new haircut.
You haven't seen it? He looks like Kim Jong-un or whatever, the North Korean dictator.
Really?
It's like he just has the top. But you know what? When you're worth that much money, you get to do whatever.
He lives in a tiny house, cuts his own hair to save a little bit of money.
Yeah. I cut my own hair. Don't drive by my house on a Saturday or Sunday. You'll see my fat ass outside shirtless, just shaving my own head.
Someone will send you someone will use Deal Machine driving for dollars. Like, they're just trying to stress the guy must be trying to save money to cut his own hair outside.
Like, my house is right at an intersection, and there's a red light. So not only do I have people facing my house this way, I have people backed up at this red light, and they just watch us in our yard. So at first, you're kind of weirded out, right? You're like, oh, man, I don't want to do this. After a while, you don't even know they're there. You're just doing shit in your yard that you wouldn't be embarrassed if you were like conscious of it. And there I am, just shaving my head, shaving my belly, just like, let's do it, dude. I saved $20, man. I don't care.
Don't you have a backyard? I'm just curious. Why do you choose the front yard instead of the backyard?
It's not like that. My yard is long. I have an acre going this way, and my house sits in the middle, so I have side yards.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a lot of people driving by my house honking at me now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy shaving.
There he is. He's shaving.
We'll throw Brandon's address in the chat for you guys watching. One thing, because I'm used to your other backdrop. I don't know how much we want to hit on this, but the 10X is this weekend, actually in Hollywood, Florida, so not too far away.
Yeah, I know.
Usually have a 10X drop. Are you going? And I saw your boy. You were just at his mastermind. Is
Chris? Yeah, he's going.
I saw he was posted. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's going. I got a lot on deck this year. I made it a goal to go big this year.
Love that.
Be around bigger people, be around more money, bigger ideas, because I'm in Aurora. I think I kind of mentioned that before. So, and I've been to 10X. I did the one in Vegas in, I don't know, whatever year it was, 2017, 18. And it was great. Don't get me wrong, but it's not teaching me. It's like a sugar rush, Like, yeah, you can meet people and you're getting pumped and you're getting motivated and you're hearing people's stories. But honestly, if you're on YouTube or Instagram, you probably heard those people's stories like 5,000 times anyway. And they're not necessarily teaching you. Most of them, like a lot of them are selling and motivating you.
Yeah.
So my idea of like networking and conferences is more real estate, money focused, investing, but also smaller. You know, like, I mean, he sells out, dude. Like, even when I went to the Vegas thing, you're talking like, I don't even know how many people, thousands and thousands of people from all different industries. So no, I'm not going to it, but I mean, I love Grant Cardone. I love Uncle G. You know, I think people love him or hate him, and I think you hate to love him. He crushes it on all angles, and he made it a goal to go big too. Back in like the day, if you ever read his book, he said he was never going to get caught in that situation again. He made it a goal to go big. 10 years later, look at him. You know, just sold one of his South Florida portfolio for $750 million.
Yeah. Is that where he got his start? His real estate?
Car sales.
Okay.
Car sales coach. I think he owned some real estate, but then he took it big and went into multifamily, created his own fund. He has a unique way of setting it up, but yeah. But I love 10X, man. But you know what I love? So back in the day, conferences were more 500 people, 200 people all sitting in a big hotel room. You know, I'm getting, and now it's kind of switching. That and the webinars were a big thing, but now it's kind of switching to where it's like, you know, 15 or 40 people all get together type thing, and you're masterminding that way, you know?
A little bit more intimate. That's like it looked like Chris Roots are always like that. Those are cool because you're actually
gotta be masterminding. And what is
you're probably at least getting a few words in with like every single person there, and like more one-on-one time than you would in those situations that are more like I get it though, like the Grant Cardones or even like Tony Robbins events. I've never been to like a UPW. Those would be pretty cool. Those probably have more like applicable action steps to take back with you. I feel like the Grant Cardone, it's still something good to expose yourself to, because that almost goes into like your subconscious wiring of like thinking big. So I think that's like a good foundation to have. And then you can go to the more strategic or more intimate ones. Which
I went to. I mean, which I highly recommend. I'm not saying anything negative. Like it's just currently right now, I have no need for that. Tony Robbins is a bit different. That's like empowerment type thing. And like he does, and he teaches you some stuff. I've only done his online. I've never been in person. I don't know, man. I mean, you got to be masterminding, you know, because if you're not masterminding, you're masturbating. Simple as that, you know.
Get that on the back of the need for leads shirt.
Master, that's not my line. I can't take credit for that. Chris Rude said that, and I thought it was hilarious. Because it's true, man. If you're not masterminding, you're just sitting at home masturbating. So it's like you gotta make some fucking money, man. And yeah, the 40. When I went to that one, because I've been to different kinds. When you go to the smaller ones, you are forced to talk unless you're forcing yourself to be an outcast. I'm a natural introvert. I could have easily hung out by myself, went into a corner of his house, and nobody probably, maybe one or two people would have talked to me. But I mean, unless you're actually trying to avoid people, you are almost shoulder to shoulder being forced to ask people, where are you from? What do you do? And then it's just a natural progression, and you see who you relate to and who you can, you know, become out. What his thing is, his allies, who you can work together. You know, which
did you give like a hot seat presentation there at Chris Rude's Mastermind?
Did they? No, it was more teaching. Like he brought different specialists up in different like fields, whether it was oil and gas, whether it was apartments, multifamily, whether it was wholesaling, flipping, buying businesses. So he would bring different, but they're all relating to what we do because it's all investing in a different degree, direct to seller style stuff. Whether you buy businesses, you still go direct to seller, or the guy doing oil and gas well with direct to seller. It's all the same stuff, just a different route. But I mean, you know, allies, it's the way to do it, man. You got to get out there and meet people. I don't have a lot of friends, but I have a lot of people that I work with that become my friends. Like and that's kind of like what Chris kind of like, what's the word? What he backs or what he's all about is let me work with you first, then decide if I want to be your friend. And I could tell you stories. I'm sure anybody listening or you guys, you work with friends. Oh man, I have had some partners that have come and gone. Some hard divorces and breakups on those.
They're not tuned in every week to watch Let's Talk Real Estate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? You work with your friends; they have different personalities, different values, and when it comes into business, whoever you do business with, you better have the same values as them.
Yep.
I mean, otherwise you're just wasting your time. And I've made those mistakes, and that's what 2022 is all about for me. I ain't making those fucking mistakes again, dude. I ain't letting people ride my coattails. I'm not paying people just to keep them. I'm not afraid to fire people. That's why we've been on a firing and hiring tear, trying to find the right people to put in the right seats on the bus.
Hire fast, fire faster.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Yesterday, I was in the family mastermind, and I can share this because I'm going to interview the guy, Steve Richards, on a podcast soon. But he was talking about hiring and personality tests. He does a ton of, I guess he has a service or product that does a ton of front end work on personality, predictive index type stuff, and onboarding for new hires. But a little bit to the culture point, he was saying before he even starts talking about the job and what it would entail, he doesn't go past any type of conversation. What was I took notes on I don't know if my Scribble iPad is here or not. I don't see it here in the office, but it was he has to make sure that number one thing, culture is a fit, skill set, and what they're going to be paid is a fit before they even move that. Like it's that type of conversation first. Like first, you have to be a culture fit is the number one thing before you even move past any type of conversation about the job.
I'm going to have to watch this interview. This is interesting.
It is. Yeah, that was in the family. What I'm going to do, he's going to do the same presentation on the Investor Fuse podcast as well. I'm sure we can get him on. I'm excited to get some people on Let's Talk Real Estate as well, just because it add another dimension. But yeah, he's killing it. He's presenting. So he presented there. He's big into Kent Clothier's mastermind, and that's really the pocket. He has an active real estate business in Indianapolis, but that's kind of the niche that he's found himself in, just really getting doing a lot of front end work for hiring different people for different companies.
That's important though, man. I've made once again mistakes. So we have a hiring division, right? So Queen is her name, and she's in charge of hiring. And I'm not extremely happy. We have our processes for how we hire. It's all written out again, obviously, but we're missing something. So I've been going back and forth with her about just what you're saying, right? And it's the thing, you can't know everything in the forefront, right? You have to build the plane while you're flying and make mistakes and find the pieces that fit. And I want to implement, so that's why I find it interesting, because I want to implement personality testings, because I feel like we're letting too many people in. I think the interview process, not the actual hiring process, but the interview itself, I don't think is weeding out or grabbing the right people. And I think having something like that, personality index or some type of test, I think would help immensely. When I used to hire in office, we used the DISC profile for closers.
We do a fun trick here when we post a job, which we did a couple months ago. And so we'll have the job description or whatever where it's going to be posted. And the very bottom, we'll say, in order to be considered for an interview, please send a video explaining why you'd be good for the job. And so I think this last one, we posted it on Indeed, and we got something like 300 some resumes, and 10 people sent a video, because they just go through and they say, send resume, send resume, send resume, send resume. And it's okay, how can we and so making them actually read it and then send the video automatically weeds out those that just don't follow instructions.
Here's the thing, bro. That's all well and good until you do what I do, right? Because you and me talked about that.
We did.
Because you know my hiring system. I implemented so I started out with a video.
Yeah.
Okay. And nobody, I got 2 out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, because you send your app in, we send you back an email. Congratulations, here's what your next steps are. Send this. Nothing. Instead, we get people I don't know how to send a video. How do I attach this? So it's all right, let's make this easier. Let's do an audio instead, because really I just need to hear them.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's
it works when people do it, but some of these virtual people that we're hiring, it's just On Indeed, it's different because you're dealing with a different quality of person. I fully support this idea. I'm just saying you don't always get the results, and you better be willing to put your tail between your legs and still figure out how to hire some people. Otherwise, you'll just be by yourself.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. And we do focus, like, we do try to find tech savvy people. So, like, for us, like, that's a great weed out because, yeah, if you can't figure out how to send a video, and you're going to be supporting, be software people.
Yeah.
Support people for software.
You're hiring tech people. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We're not hiring callers.
Typical red flags are if they have like an AOL.com email address.
Earthscape? What is it? Netscape?
Netscape. Man, that's even older.
Go.com.
Mm-hmm.
You want a job at this company? You want a job at this company and fit our company culture? You need to send a video of you cutting your own hair in your front yard in front of your neighbors.
Yeah.
Send that to me.
Send that over. Let me see that.
Oh,
you guys laugh, but you know what? I'm giving people a show.
Love that. No, I love it. I'm laughing about it. I'm giving people a show too. I love it. I absolutely love it.
But yeah, so anyway, I mean, hiring is always something, but circling all the way back to the mastermind thing, like that's part of it, right? Finding the right people, being around the right people, and even doing something like this for anybody listening, or just me talking to you guys, like just that idea right there. I got to look into that guy and see what type of personality test he's using to help scale.
Yeah. We haven't done that here very much, but I do think that like that would be something that, we haven't really hired in a while. I think we hadn't hired anyway for like 2 years, at least on like a support side. We would do devs and stuff. But yeah, that's like an interesting thing. And I feel like that's gotten a lot more prominence over in the past like 3, 4, 5 years. And there's software out there, so I would be curious what he does. Some of them, like the ones I know, are super, super expensive. And it's like how you attract and test enterprise level people. But, for us, and for you and other real estate people out there, it'd be intriguing to know. So keep us updated on that.
I feel like I'm an enterprise level. Us real estate investors always like to believe we're the biggest swinging dicks in the room. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Get it going, dude. Mm-hmm. But anyway, you know what I wanted to talk about, though? I'm circling all the way back. I wanted to talk about JV.
Ooh, all right.
So, and also sending deals out. So I had this person reach out to me, and they were like, "Hey, listen, I got this property. For sale. Or I see that you buy mobile homes. Are you interested?" So they reached out to me on social media. I'm like, "Yeah, send it over." Like, of course, I need more deals. So I get it, and it's at like $100K. I'm like, all right, I'm looking at this mobile, and I'm like, man, there's a mobile home at $100K sitting on an acre. And it was just coincidence, because if you guys watch my Instagram, I'm on like everybody's list. Like maybe like 2 hours later, I kind of shoved it aside, and I went about my business. A couple hours later, I opened up my one of my work emails, my wholesaler email, and there it is, and $98K. From another
a different person. Oh, it's not
different person, different company. So the original person sent it over to me and said direct to owner. Okay, direct to owner. All right, because I always try to make sure. But they also sent it on their realtor email, right? So like my next question was, are you coming at me as a wholesaler, or are you coming at me as a realtor? Because one, ethically, like, are you representing me, or are you just trying to shove a deal down my throat and say, dude, I'm making my profit amount? So I don't know, because they sent it on their realtor email, which for anybody, that's a big red flag. We're not yet requiring licenses, and there's all kinds of ethics around you sending it as a realtor, but then you trying to wholesale it. Just get a second email, right? Just like everyone else, have it a johntheinvestor@gmail.com. And when you want to do wholesale deals, just send it out. And if you get it, just write in the other comments, licensed Florida realtor, and your coverage is good. Anyway, so I was really confused by it. And then I go back to the other email and I see it's cheaper. And now I see everything, because this person didn't send me but 3 photos and nothing on the property. They sent me no square footage, no room count. So here I am thinking like, okay, 100K, this is a pretty decent sized mobile, must be for this price. No, turns out it's a 700 square foot mobile. 2-1.
Why is it 100K?
That's what the fuck I'm saying.
So anyway, was it in perfect condition that it just come off the lot yesterday?
It's a piece of shit. But so the real funny part is like this person who sent me the deal originally, I go in their email, and because they're a realtor, you know, they prepare this CMA, which if anyone doesn't know what a CMA is, it's bullshit. CMA stands for bullshit. And you go in the MLS and you click some little dots, and then it just puts together this fancy PDF report. So I open it up, and I'm like, wow, she has like a value of like 189 on here. I'm like, 189? So I start looking, and I'm scrolling, and I'm like, wait, is that? It's a single family house. So as she's trying to sell this, her comparables, right?
Oh, our single family, like
it's a single family home for 189 at like, I don't know the square footage, 1,100, 1,200 square feet. So it's like 400 or 500 square foot bigger, and it's a fucking single family home. So I keep scrolling. Every one of them, not the rest of them weren't single family, but they were all like 1,200 square foot mobiles, 1,100 square foot mobiles, all at like 180, 189. And I'm thinking, you're going to tell me this thing's worth 180 when things 400 to 500 square feet bigger and a house, mind you, in the same neighborhood, because it's one of those mixed areas.
Yeah.
I'm selling in the 180s. Like, how am I paying 100 for this thing? And why am I going to buy it from you when I got another guy selling it to me at 98? So I've been trying to figure out a way. Moral of this story is to catch 22, because I really want to teach them something in a nice way and try to type them back a message of like, hey, listen, no harm, no foul, but if you're going to send this out, here's what you should do. And by the way, but I'm like, any way I say it, I'm coming off like a dick. It's like I used to know a guy who would always say, hey, I'm not trying to be a dick, but like, but bro, you are being a dick just by saying I'm not trying to be a dick. Anything that comes out of your mouth after that is you being a dick.
Right.
Yeah. It's like no. It's like someone saying no offense, but it's like, well,
and you're gonna offend them.
It's up to me if I'm gonna get offended. It sounds like I'm probably gonna get offended.
Yeah. So I don't know if I can say anything. Like I know I can, and I know I could come off like a dick and just be like, hey, this is where you fucked up. But also, like, I'm not, I want deals. So it's like either I keep my mouth shut or I teach them something. And, nowadays people get so offensive about these things. They're like, oh, this guy's an asshole trying to tell me how to do real estate. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think I should message them back with corrections, or should I just ignore them?
How else are they going to learn is my thought process, right? Because at this point, like, they got to being the way they are somehow, right? Yeah. And, going back to the last week's episode, right? They probably, subscribe to some course, watch some videos, and, maybe that's their first time trying to put a deal out. Who knows? But, like, how else are they going to get better unless they get feedback that says, hey, you're kind of being an idiot with this, and here are the reasons why. Yeah. And, to your point of like, of these kind of people being in the world, and all of a sudden, like, there's lots of them now, daisy chaining deals and all that fun stuff. Somebody's got to teach them. Otherwise, they're going to keep doing it. And it's going to get worse.
Make like a canned response template for like daisy chaining wholesaler, and just have like a general template. Or actually, you can make them a graph. Make them a graph of what to do. Like,
here's where you've gone wrong.
Yeah. Like, I'm kind of joking around, and it's like funny, but also at the same time, I'm like, oh, well, it's not actually bad. If you tell what, like, like kind of like proper ethics or guidelines of sending deals out.
Yeah, and then I could sell it as an ebook.
Yeah, and then if they take offense to it, it's like, it's on them, and they may not have thick enough skin to do off-market transactions, because just the sheer volume of doing off-market transactions, you're either on the seller side or other wholesalers you're trying to daisy chain stuff to, you're going to get some nasty words and nasty tones thrown your way, most likely.
Well, that's the thing is like who teaches them. I don't necessarily believe it's my job to teach them because one, I get no value from teaching them, nor do I have the time to make a graph, although that's funny. So where I was going with it is I kind of went along the lines of what we talked about last week, and it's like who's teaching them?
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone pays $500, $800 for a course, $2,000 for an hour on the phone. But who are they calling up when these things happen? Hey, how do I type this email up? Hey, should I include stats with the property when I send it? Should I include photos? You know, like the other guy obviously knew what he was doing. He gave me all the stats, gave me a whole file folder of photos, you know what I mean? And also had it cheaper. But I was like, okay, this person, it's professional. They know what they're doing. I don't understand how he's at 98 and this person's at 100 when this person said they're direct to owner. So that confuses me. Yeah. So it's also the other thing is like when I JV, and I JV a lot because I don't always dispo every deal, especially out of state. I like in Texas, for example, I just give my deals out and they dispo them. I'm not trying to deal with that. I got 100 other things I'm doing. But you know what we agree on is the price. And you know what happens? My dispo, we don't market it. You know, like that doesn't happen. And if for some reason we do market something and then can't sell it and need somebody else to help them, there is extreme communication about where we marketed, how we marketed, what price we marketed, and our buyers list. So that way we both don't look like douchebags.
Oh, you're saying, oh, okay. So when you're joint venturing with something.
When I do it. So like,
yeah.
So that scenario was if I'm trying, and it happened where like I'm trying to sell it in a market that's not a good market for me. And I'm trying on my own without JVing, which happens. And then you're like, shit, I can't sell this. Hey, man, you want to help me out? Like, I can't sell this deal. You have good buyers. You want to do it? The problem is what people don't realize is a lot of times they're sending it out to the same buyers you sent it out to. You just don't have a relationship with them. So nobody's forcing them to buy the deal.
Right.
But again, if they send it out at a higher price than you send it out, you're now ruining their relationship with their buyer because you just set them up to fail because that guy's just like me. Well, wait a second. I got this like a week ago cheaper from somebody else. Like, are you direct owner? No, I'm JVing with I'm partnering with somebody. Well, why are they trying to sell it to me cheaper here? So again, like you got to communicate those things. And so if this person was partnering with that other guy, they should have communicated on what the email looked like, what photos you're sending, how you're describing the property, and what price it's going to come out at.
Yeah.
I'm not saying JVing is bad. I'm just saying like people need to do it professionally and make sure. And then I follow a bunch of Facebook groups, and everyone always, whenever you call somebody out on it, whether it's true or not, they're always like, oh, no, I'm direct. I am direct to the contract holder. I'm not a daisy chainer. Somebody else daisy chained me. I'm like, well, like after a while, like I could think of one company that has been called out on the Investor Lift forum numerous times because I'm an Investor Lift member. And honestly, before that post, I hate this company. Fucking hate them. They have the worst emails. All they do every day. And they always put the word new deal in front of it. Guess what? It's not a new deal 3 weeks later. So somebody finally called him out and like, hey, listen, like I keep getting these emails, but I get them from 3 other companies and they're always like at different prices. And the company's trying to defend themselves. Obviously, you have a problem.
Yeah.
You have a problem. You're marketing the way you're talking to your JV partners. You need to fix that. So I shouldn't be getting 7 emails for the same property every day.
Mm-hmm. Is it like I mean, I have no frame of reference to this as like an honest question. Is it like an act of desperation on the person who actually has the contract? That they're like, oh my God, I finally got a contract. I don't know what to do with it. Let me go talk to 5 people, and all 5 of those people start dispoing the deal. Is that what happens? So
that's what I was trying to say is so that company that got called out, right? That was what they said happened. That is what they said happened. So I don't believe that to be true because obviously, so these people were in a different state than me. I'm seeing it happen over here. So their deal's all over. Come on, dude. Every single fucking time somebody grabs your deal or the person you're partnering with partnered with 5 other people, and that's why we're getting 6 emails.
Right.
That doesn't make sense. Like eventually, like you have to just say bullshit, like you call bullshit.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing, but that was their excuse. Like, no, the guy we got, the direct to contract owner must have lied to us and JV'd with other people. Well, didn't you sign an agreement? Because when I sign an agreement, I'm giving them like this option period.
Yeah.
So I just think it's bad practice. I think people need to work on that. That's all.
Oh yeah.
For that, I was just going to ask for that specific example, just because we're all in software here. For that specific example in the investor lift group, is it typically people asking for help dispoing properties for people that have like the top level investor lift access, where they can just see like a ton of buyer information wherever?
No, I didn't mean it that way. I meant somebody on investor lift in the forum posted photos of 2 of their emails at different prices, saying this is an everyday thing. And then the person realizing it was their company, hopping on the thread, defending themselves. Me then going, oh shit, that's the same company that I hate every day because my email blows up.
Gotcha. Well, I was going to say that could be decent. Like in that investor lift example, that could be good collaboration. And I think of the book Extreme Ownership, which I haven't read all the way through, but I've listened to a few chapters on Audible. Like you were saying, like extreme communication is like a very, very good one of the many, many good principles to live by in life and business, for that matter. But I mean, in theory, if there was good communication, there would be nothing wrong. Like if someone reached out to you, like if you flip the example, like if somebody in Texas reached out to you to help move properties in Florida, and you guys can both make money on it while helping the seller, like that'd be awesome.
Again, 100%, but that's not what I'm saying. So it's like if someone came to me and said, hey, listen, man, can you help me move this? I already pushed it out to 5 other wholesalers who are helping me.
Exactly.
Listen, I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
And be like, dude, like I got no need for this. Obviously, you got a bunch of, we're all marketing to the same people, everybody. It's like, and you can't trust what's going on. So, and it's not them. The problem isn't that they got lied to. The problem is their business structure, in my opinion. I'm not saying running a dispo company is a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. And I use dispo companies, but it's about the dispo company themselves.
Absolutely.
Like obviously you're doing something wrong. If everybody else is wholesaling the same deals you're wholesaling, you are either have the wrong clientele, right? Mm-hmm. Or you're lying about how you run your business, one or the other. So that's where the extreme ownership, extreme honesty. You can be honest about it because it's a bad thing, but that's what some people teach out there is why go after your own deals, like just dispo other people's deals. That's fine. But when I know I'm going to JV a deal, I also don't market my own deal. I don't market it and then JV it at the same time as Carlos is marketing it for me. What's the point? I asked for his help for a reason.
Yep. I think that's super important. Yeah, people should just communicate. We're all, like you said, everybody's marketing to the same people, and it's like everybody's trying to be salesy and whatever, fishy or whatever. It's just like be honest, have good ethics, and do the right thing for crying out loud.
Do good business.
Whoever's phone's ringing, answer that live for the show.
I could have. I just pushed it to the next guy. Listen, you want me on the
What phone? Is that? Why don't you explain that? That's pretty cool for people that don't have that back end call flow set up. What was that? What does that exactly mean?
Like round robin, like round. If I end it, it goes to the next person. It's just smart.
That's pretty savvy for people that are just starting off.
Smartphone. Yeah, it's dialed into my investor fuse software system. But
So as you boss up and scale up, you may not have to take the call, every single call live, because you can just have a custom set to go to somebody else in your team.
Yeah, we have I could have waited and it would have just rang for a couple seconds and then went, but we're on a show.
Would love somebody to take a live call at some point, so I'm going to keep saying it jokingly.
You want me to take a live? I'll take a live call. I'll call people on this thing. I do it on my training calls.
We should. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we can do that. I know other people do that. They do like the live call thing. So we would, I would have to. My whole thing with that is like we would definitely have to say this call's being recorded though. Prior to that, I'm not trying to get my ass sued. So yeah. Hey, this call's being recorded for training and YouTube purposes.
Could you imagine getting somebody coming to serve you with paperwork while you're outside giving yourself a haircut?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'd be hilarious. No, but I mean, so like I was watching one of those shows where people get on the call and this dude's like opening up about his life. damn near like crying on the phone. And I'm thinking like, this is on the fucking internet.
Yeah, dude. I think the same thing when I see so many of those type things. I'm like, man, like a lot of the times you're talking to people that are like in distressed situations, and like are just like a lot of times they just want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And you're just like broadcasting this on your Instagram and like
you're on Instagram
teaching people how to buy super low and like psychologically like yeah, it's a lot.
And like you're sitting there, right? Because you know you're on camera and you're like,
yeah, exactly.
And you know, on this one they had like other people, so it was like a contest type thing, and like 3 other people were listening, telling him what to do, like what price. And I'm like, and they're all like, oh my god, he's crushing it, he's gonna get it so well. And they're like, gem drop, you know, like, and I'm thinking, could you imagine if you're this guy and like your daughter or somebody who's like on YouTube is like, Dad, is this why you and Mom broke up?
1, 2, 3 Main Street, isn't that our house, Dad?
So like, I'm just thinking to myself like, wow, people really don't give a shit about like the rules about audio recording, and like they're blatantly, and the best part is that they're profiting off of it, because we all know like YouTube, you're profiting off the ads and you're trying to grow your channel, so you're making money off of illegally recording people. And I don't think anyone in the real estate business gives 2 shits about it.
Pretty sad.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna do live calls, I'm definitely gonna have to say this call's being recorded.
Maybe we won't do that.
No, I mean you can do it. You have to say that your call is being recorded for training.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I'm no lawyer. I am not a lawyer, but
it is funny that it is like funny. Like I don't necessarily hop on those, but I just see there are a ton of them of like cold calling people live, which is good because I mean that's the best. If you don't have someone training you like that you're working for inside of a company, like people are like, this is this show. Like people are going to learn from this show. But it is just like an interesting, from like an animal perspective. It's like people gathered around virtually, calling people in distress situations, and like everybody just like probing a knife into them with like different questions and trying to negotiate price and things like that. It's interesting, and you guys be brought up in a funny light there.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And at least I don't use my real Papa P. Not using my real name, so they would never be able to. I mean, I've been sued before for like RVMs and stuff, but like, I mean, that's an easy out, and I
you just brush that right off.
Yeah, I did.
Dodging this.
I 100% did. I defended myself, and he made a very fatal error that I caught. I got extremely lucky, to be honest with you. I got extremely lucky. I would like to think it was my legal acumen, and I was like Denny Crane out there just lock and loading, and just no, I got lucky. He made a mistake in the way he handled the case, and I got out of it. The judge, ruled in my favor, and I didn't have to pay him anything. Actually, that's not true. I did pay. I paid for the cost of the court fees because I felt that was easier. And she told the guy he had no case. You need to go back. We went to mediation, and I offered to pay $140 for the filing of the court case.
Oh my word.
Anyway, so yeah, don't get sued.
Don't get sued, people.
Companies have been sued for it, but they usually go after bigger companies. But I think this episode was good. We talked a little bit about CRMs and a little bit about real estate partnership and training.
Ethics. Be ethical.
Extreme communication.
Be ethical, or Papa P will come out into your front yard shirtless and shave his head
while holding a bat.
While holding my bat, and no, I probably won't wear a Speedo, but I
with a bat.
If I wasn't so fat, I think I would do the Speedo thing for summer. But I haven't lost this gut yet. I'm on a mission.
A bat with a mirror taped on it, cutting his hair.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna come after you.
Wearing an American flag Speedo. If that ain't America, I don't know what is.
That's pretty accurate there.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right, guys.
Episode 2.
Episode 2.
I think we need to get an intro going in episode 3 or 4 where we have an intro, kind of like, like a little theme song / intro, something.
We're gonna work on it.
Highway to the danger zone. If we want to stay with the Top Gun team.
Yeah, we go.
We got the
We'll marinate on it.
Four leads.
Yeah, I love that. We'll marinate on it. Awesome, guys.
Sweet.
All right,
you guys
guys.
have a good weekend. See you next week.
Two in the bag. Lock and load. Do it.
Woo!
Ow, ow.